From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and welcome to the broadcast. Our top story, alcohol is believed to be a factor in a fatal ATV rollover in Two Rivers over the weekend.
55-year-old Daniel Fbx was pronounced dead on scene after the Polaris four-wheeler he was driving rolled over several times between Baseline Road and Trickett Lane in Two Rivers. His next of kin has been notified. According to an online Alaska State Troopers release, the accident occurred just after 1:30 Saturday morning. Investigation determined that Fbx was traveling southbound on Grange Hall Road when he lost control of the four-wheeler, causing it to roll over several times. The autopsy will be conducted by the State Medical Examiner's Office to determine the exact cause of death. Trooper spokeswoman Megan Peters says no witnesses of the wreck have been identified.
We don't know how fast he was going, but it appears that he lost control of the four-wheeler, and the four-wheeler ended up rolling a couple times. The man was not wearing a helmet. We do suspect that alcohol is a factor in the wreck. Certainly, when we see these types of wrecks, there are head injuries that are sometimes involved, and so sometimes those can be avoided with proper head protection. So people really shouldn't discredit using a helmet when they set out to ride.
An 18-year-old Delta Junction man has been ordered to serve 2.5 years in prison for a 2014 arson. Vasilia Malik has pled guilty to the arson counts. Judge Jane Kavar also sentenced Malik to 5.5 years suspended jail time that he would have to serve if he violated conditions of his probation. According to court records, Malik was 16 when he went into the Clearwater Lodge, stole liquor, then torched the business. 2 days later, he reportedly broke into a neighbor's home and set it on fire. Both buildings were destroyed.
State troopers responding to a report last Friday of shots fired in the North Pole area found that a moose had been killed. Wildlife troopers who investigated say that 41-year-old Brian Johnson of North Pole had taken the moose during a closed season and without a hunting license. Troopers say it was also determined that Johnson was a convicted felon in possession of a handgun that had been reported stolen. He had also fired a shot towards a nearby residence and was in possession of illegal drugs. He was jailed on weapons, drug, and theft charges.
An Anchorage man allegedly vandalized a DOT truck before breaking into a Salcha home on Saturday. 44-year-old David Gatsky was arrested for burglary, theft, criminal mischief, trespassing, and driving with a suspended license. According to the Alaska State Troopers, they received a ready report about 9:30 of a possible intoxicated driver leaving the Salcha store. About an hour later, there was a report that a Birch Lake DOT truck had been broken into in an attempt to steal fuel. Gatsky then allegedly forced his way into a private residence where he stole miscellaneous items. Gatsky has a criminal history of driving under the influence and removal of merchandise in Anchorage. His next court date is set for tomorrow.
State lawmakers continue working overtime as they try to cut budget. With a $4 billion deficit, nothing is exempt, but arguments continue over what should get the axe and what shouldn't. Legislators were arguing House Bill 379 today. It would eliminate pay step increases and pay increments for certain state employees and looks at issues related to collective bargaining agreements entered into by the state. Representative Les Guerra of Anchorage didn't feel taking away employee incentives was a good plan.
I can't support this legislation. There are smarter ways to save money. And I think there are a lot of fiscal proposals out there that just nobody's really debated that I think should be debated. If we're going to get out of this fiscal mess. It's not the time to not debate those things.
Each day, the extended regular session of the Alaska Legislature continues. It means every lawmaker is collecting $213 in per diem from the state. That comes to $12,000 a day. The pay is based on federal per diem rates, which go up in the summer to account for tourist season. Legislators will receive an extra $34 a day starting next Saturday. Given the emphasis of taking action at the beginning of the 90-day session, some Alaskans don't agree the state should pay anything beyond the regular session.
When we come back, tomorrow is the annual Gathering of Remembrance at St. Matthew's Church, and the mayor will be there to give his update.
Also, soldiers load and transport essential base camp supplies for mountaineering rangers at the start of the climbing season. Those stories are next. Stay with us. Welcome back. The 2016 Alaska Rural Energy Conference will be held April 26th through the 28th at the Westmark Fairbanks Hotel. The 2014 conference in Fairbanks attracted almost 400 people from over 75 villages and towns in Alaska and beyond. The three-day event offers a large variety of technical sessions covering new and ongoing energy projects in Alaska, as well as new technologies and needs for Alaska's remote communities.
Since at least the 1980s, the National Park Service has been collaborating with the U.S. Army at the base of Mount Denali. Soldiers from the 152nd Aviation Battalion load and transport essential base camp supplies for mountaineering rangers there at the start of the climbing season. In return, the Army gets to train in the Park Service airspace over the Alaska Range for up to 2 weeks. Ryan Grimes arrived in Talkeetna just in time for the annual transport.
Today, Army soldiers and Park Service rangers met at the Talkeetna airfield by 3 Chinook helicopters. Their job for the day was to deliver propane, medical supplies, communications equipment, and food to the Kahiltna Glacier. The soldiers in the 152nd Aviation Battalion Bravo Company say they treat the transport as an annual military training exercise.
We can handle pretty much as they can fit in, because most of the stuff is not heavy equipment. Each piece, obviously combined, the sum of it is pretty heavy. We can get up to 50,000 pounds totally gross weight with a helicopter and cargo.
Specialist Mark Adderholt has trained in the Alaska Range extensively thanks to the Army's collaboration with the Park Service. However, Adderholt has never done a supply drop at such high altitudes before.
And what do you hope to learn out of an experience like this?
Crew coordination, cargo management, personnel management. And we got to be very quick on the fly. This has to go here, and we got to get it strapped down, get ready to go.
Mountaineering Ranger Dan Korn with the NPS says his organization benefits from the deal economically. He says transporting those supplies through other means could complicate the main aspect of his job, which is to supervise the safety of climbers trying to summit Mount Denali.
It's one load versus many loads in a plane or with our helicopter. So it's in essence, it's less of a carbon footprint. It's getting the job done in one load. It's super helpful.
Doing the same one 3 times now, on average.
It took the Park Service and the Army about 2 hours to unload and tie the supplies together. Much of it is now set to be flown by the NPS to another base camp at a higher altitude. Specialist Adderholt said he did not anticipate the true difficulty of his mission.
Even being at 7,000 feet, you start to feel a little bit more winded than you would at sea level. So the training that we go through prior to even coming down here to Talkeetna is, it's definitely good to take that seriously. Seeing the glacier in person, I had to stop and pull myself away from what I was doing and think 4.5, 5 years ago, I was in high school. I didn't know what I was going to do. And to talk to my friends back home, they're still doing the same thing. And I have already done more in the past 5 years than what I would have ever imagined.
This is Ryan Grimes reporting.
Tomorrow is the annual gathering of Remembrance at St. Matthew's Church. Now the service starts at noon, followed by the Remembrance Walk to the Centennial Bridge. A reception will be held afterwards in the Parish Hall. Fairbanks Mayor John Eberhardt will be there to give his update on his cold case unit. According to Shirley Lee, a member of the clergy at St. Matthew's Church, the gathering of Remembrance is primarily held for the families to remember their loved ones and help keep up the awareness of unsolved homicides.
So the gathering allows the families to come together and share memories and get updates. We invite the law enforcement community to the gathering as well. The mayor will be here tomorrow to provide an update on his cold case unit, and the troopers will be here. But the gathering really is a chance to keep the cases in the forefront because it's so easy to forget. Some of these cases are very old, and that doesn't lessen the grief, though, that the families feel.
Joe Cook is up next with the weekend recap in sports, and the Ice Dogs know who they will play for the Midwest Division title.
Also see a new world record being set, plus a new I-5 and more with Joe after the break.
Welcome back, Interior sports fans. It's Monday night, so it's time for the weekend recap. Fairbanks Ice Dogs handled business on Friday. They rested over the weekend as they waited to see who their opponent will be in the Midwest Division Finals. That wait is over. On Sunday, the Minnesota Wilderness defeated the Janesville Jets to clinch their semifinal series 3-1 and advance to the finals. The Wilderness won 3-2 in overtime. They won back-to-back overtime games, including double overtime on Saturday night. The division finals are a rematch from last year. The Wilderness swept Fairbanks and went on to win the Robertson Cup. The Ice Dogs and Wilderness have won the last 2 Robertson Cups. Minnesota and Fairbanks will clash on Friday night in Game 1 of the Midwest Division Finals at 7:30 p.m. at the Big Dipper Ice Arena. The series will have the same format as the semifinals. If Fairbanks goes up 2-0 in this series, they will go to Minnesota for the remaining games. If there is a split in the first 2 games, Game 3 will be Sunday at 5 p.m. at the Dipper. In Anchorage at the Native Youth Olympics, a new world record was set in scissors broad jump event. The young woman who set the record is Madeline Coe. She is a former member of the West Valley Wolfpack. She lives in Palmer and goes to Colony High, but represented the Tanana Chiefs Conference at NYO. Her jump of 29 feet 6 1/4 inches was captured by our sister station KTUU at the Alaska Airlines Center on Friday night. Coe wasn't done. She went on to win the 2-foot high kick title with a kick of 77 inches, and she won the 1-foot high kick with a kick of 88 inches on Saturday night. 2 interior rivals met for the first time on the pitch this past Saturday. These Lathrop and West Valley matchups are usually close in just about every sport. Saturday evening, it was in soccer. The West Valley boys came in undefeated, but saw themselves trailing 2-0. It was 2-1 by halftime. Lathrop got goals from Zach Kosa and Henrique Longari, who put one in from distance after the ball hit off the post on the free kick. Jake Carlson had a nice game in net for Lathrop as they tried to hold on to their lead, but Drew Ricks, he scored with 5 minutes left to force a 3-3 tie for West Valley, who remain unbeaten. The girls' game was pretty close. Lathrop held West Valley to a season low in points, led by goalie Michaela Triplehorn, who made a number of timely saves, but no one could penetrate the Wolfpack defense, who got their 4th straight shutout. Kiara Simpson provided the scoring with a goal in each half. She already has 14 goals. She finished last year with 17. The Pack improved to 4-0 with a 2-0 win over the Malamutes, who remain winless. The Wolfpack put together some late-game heroics on the diamond for their 2nd win of the year. West Valley pulled away from the Monroe Rams with 7 runs in the 7th inning and won 14-8 on Saturday. West Valley was down 7-8 going into that 7th inning. Blake Sarthart hit the go-ahead RBI for West Valley. Axel Keaton went 2 for 4 with a ribby for West Valley as well. Matt Williams, he went off for the North Pole Patriots in a high-scoring game on Saturday. Williams had 5 RBIs and hit 3 for 6 in a 25-11 win over the Hutchinson Hawks. It's North Pole's first win of the season. The Patriots produced 14 hits, while the Hawks committed 7 errors in the loss. From the pitch to the diamond, here's another set of top moments in the I-5 Interior Top 5 plays.
Starting us out at number 5, Vonche Wood hits the game-clinching triple in the 5th inning to clear the bases as Lathrop wins 15-4 over Monroe on Wednesday in the Interior High School baseball season opener. Number 4, Norman Rockwell rocks hard for West Valley. Kaylin O'Neill serves it up, and Rockwell puts it in net with a heady header that came in a 10-0 win for the Wolfpack over Monroe on Wednesday. At number 3, a crazy play. On a free kick from 30-plus yards out, the Lathrop Malamutes get a favorable bounce off the post. Henrique Longari is right there for the header at the goal line for the score, and a 3-3 tie for Lathrop against West Valley on Saturday. Play number 2 comes from the same game. Jake Carlson makes a save for Lathrop, knocking the ball away with his big mitts at the last second. Nice save by Carlson to deny the header in a 3-3 tie with West Valley. And at number 1, the drought is over. Senior captain Andrew North scores his first career hat trick and his first career win for the Allison Ravens on Friday. The Ravens defeated Hutchinson 8-3 for their first soccer win in 3 seasons. To vote for the play of the week, click on your favorite play on the I-5 poll on webcenter11.com. You can also comment on the KTVF Facebook and YouTube post and at KTVF11 Sports on Twitter for your vote. The play of the week will be revealed this Friday.
The I-5 Sports Report is brought to you by Adient Orthopedic Physical Therapy.
And that's it for sports tonight. Thanks for watching. Mike Schultz is next with weather, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back into a Monday night edition of Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz with you once again, talking about the weather. And after a beautiful weekend with temperatures near 70 degrees yesterday, today the clouds moved in. We had showers this afternoon, but you know what? Those showers are not bad because they're going to help that fire danger reduce, and we'd be glad to see that. Here's what it looks like on the satellite and radar. You can see a little more moisture moving in from the southeast, and that's helping to bring the showers into the interior. Usually southeast winds don't have it, but there's a lot of moisture coming in with this system. Now, if you didn't hear about it, Saturday the ice went out, not the ice, but the actual tripod went down, and the Indiana Ice Classic. And you remember last week I had a picture of the tripod sitting on the ice? Well, here's what it looked like today. Look at that. There's nowhere to be seen any ice anywhere. The tripod fell about 3:39 in the afternoon. The winners will not be announced for at least 2 weeks, so hold on to those tickets by all means. Look at that. That's just amazing. There's no ice to be seen. That's a pretty cool picture. Here's your numbers today. 65, still not too bad today. 64 currently. The low last night, 40. The record high, 69. 1997, 0. The record low in 1948. That's not too bad. Our sunrise and sunset, 16 hours and 26 minutes, a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. And as far as the rest of the state is concerned, here's what it looks like. More rain falling across southeast Alaska, 51 at Juneau, only 47 degrees at Ketchikan. Anchorage, partly cloudy, 52. Showers around the Kodiak region with 46 for their high today. Cold Bay, 50 degrees, partly cloudy. Another nice day in Bethel, 56 degrees there, 46 at Nome, and 21 degrees at Barrow, with Fort Yukon at 48 degrees. Lower 48 weather, the storm clouds are gathering. This is going to be a powerful storm. This system taking shape right here across the Rockies is going to move on to the plains and become a very major weather feature. They're expecting tornadoes and hail and damaging winds, flooding conditions. It's just going to be really nasty. Elsewhere across the country, things are looking pretty good for the most part. You see the eastern half, it looks pretty good. And here's what it looks like. The storm ingredients coming together tomorrow night with a strong jet stream helping to make things even worse. A severe storm outbreak all the way from Texas all the way up into the Dakotas. And it's all because the jet stream is once again taking shape there, helping to develop this system, a big pocket of low pressure sitting down here, and it's going to move very slowly. So a lot of energy coming out of that system. An interesting weather fact to share with you today on Monday. Look at this. In 2008, Anchorage had a late spring snowstorm that dropped more than 17 inches of snow. Oh, amazing. And as always, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. And speaking of the kids, well, next Tuesday we'll have a new set of kids with plenty of fun things to share from Joy Elementary School. Here's your forecast for tomorrow. The northern sections, flurries and fog for Barrow, sunny skies for Nome, and showers developing in Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, not too bad. Partly cloudy skies and mild for Fairbanks. More sunshine expected in Healy and Delta Junction, so the showers should be out of the picture for the most part. Over southeast Alaska, scattered showers across the region. Cool temperatures, 52 degrees at Ketchikan, only 49 at Juneau. To the southwest, intermittent rain for Cold Bay, wind and rain at Kodiak, and mostly cloudy skies in Bethel. And to the south central sections, looking at mostly cloudy skies at Anchorage, showers for Homer, and rain expected at Valdez. And what we're looking for tonight, well, these scattered showers are going to hang around through the night. 37 degrees for the overnight low. Tomorrow's forecast calling for partly cloudy early, then more clouds in the afternoon, but still 62 degrees for the high. And the extended forecast calling for some pretty consistent temperatures all the way across the board there. 60 degrees for daytime highs. Overnight lows once again in the mid-30s. No precipitation expected except for Wednesday, possibly, and that's it. Our photograph tonight, one last photograph of the swans that were over there at Creamer's Field. This one's sent in by Nora Scott. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos at ktvf11.com.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mike. Now, before we go tonight, KTVF and Bailey's Furniture are teaming up once again for the annual Spring Dream Giveaway.
That's right, Daryl. Watch the evening news for the first half of a word, then go to Bailey's Furniture for the second half and enter for a chance to win $2,500 in furniture.
You are so correct, Mike. And the word this week is sleeper.
Okay?
That sounds good. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, nearly 18 million people are at large for large hail damaging winds and tornadoes. That's up next with Lester Holt.
And as always, join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or online anytime at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have an interesting night.
Yeah, why not?